So when you have your embroidery thread, when you cut off a piece, you want to make sure that you are splitting up the embroidery thread. It comes with like 6 threads kind of spooled together. So you want to make sure that you split them, but you want to make sure you go slowly. And the reason you need to split them is because it will be too thick to embroider with. I will be demonstrating the different types of stitch that you can use while embroidering. I'm going to put this ring, the hoop part that doesn't have the tightener on it, behind the pillowcase, like so, and just make sure that it's all covered. And the next step is to place the hoop tightener kind of part over that. So now that it's been placed over the ring that's at the bottom here, I'm going to tighten it by just kind of screwing this in place until it's nice and taut. So once you have split your thread, you are going to place the one of the ends of it through the eye of the needle, of the embroidery needle. The embroidery needle has like a bigger eye so that it's easier to get all the thread in there. And you are going to knot it at the end. You're going to knot the 2 ends together. So once you have it threaded into the eye of your needle, you are going to knot the end of it, like so. So I'm going to demonstrate 3 different types of stitches you can use. There are more than that, but I only wanted to cover the basics. So the first stitch I'm going to show you is called the running stitch. You start in the back, bring it out, and you're going to create a dash by running it to the back of the pillowcase here. And then you're going to try to poke a little ways after the first dash that you created. You'll see your needle pop through and you'll be able to run it through. You're going to continue this again, and you're basically going to do another dash by just going maybe maybe a centimeter down the same line, and you're going to pull your needle out. And as you can see, you made a second dash, so to speak. I'm going to continue this for the rest of the row here so that I can show you what it looks like at the end. So the main idea is that you are starting from the beginning, you're starting from underneath to start your line here, and then you're just making dashes down the way. You'll see it's broken, it's not necessarily continuous, but the next stitch that I'm going to show you is a little more continuous that you can use for like outlining things or outlining patterns. So that's the end of my running stitch. Okay, so for the back stitch, I'm going to start at the back like we did underneath. Start from the back until you feel tension, because that's where you hit the knot. I'm going to do it like we did the running stitch. So I'm just going to find a part in the front to form a dash. We're going to actually go ways down. So we're going to keep some distance there, and then we're going to backstitch and go. And then that's how basically you're going to go, so that you have a more connected line. You're actually going to try to do it as close as possible to the last stitch so that there's kind of overlapping. So it's like a continuous line, right? And almost like inside of the same hole if you can, inside of the same stitch that you created previously. And then run the thread through, and that will allow you to have a more continuous line. Okay, so that is your back stitch. So the last stitch I'm going to show you is called a stem stitch. So again, you're going to start at the bottom. You're going to come back up from the bottom halfway through that dash. You're going to go a ways before pulling all the way down. You want to bring it back up kind of midway through that initial loop that you made. And then you're going to pull. It's going to create this nice little pattern. It takes some dexterity, but I think you can get the hang of it. This last stitch kind of goes well with like flower patterns, just like a nice little texture. So you're going to go down, not complete the loop, basically. You're not going to tighten it. You're basically going to stitch midway up, and then you'll pull. So go to the bottom before tightening it. You don't want to tighten it. You're going to come back up from the bottom and kind of drive your needle right in the middle of that line and then tighten it. And it creates this nice little pattern here. So as you can see, I have drawn a sun pattern here. I'm actually going to do the rays first. So with that, I'm going to thread my orange again. I'm going to knot the end of it. So I'm actually going to start with the sun's rays first, and that I will be doing in orange. So here I'm going to be doing back stitch situation. Go down a ways, pull it all the way through, and then actually go back almost into the same stitch that you created for the previous like dash. Try to meet up the line as best you can. Now from the back, I will continue beginning of my next line. I think this will just require one stitch. Back stitch, go back. So I found a shirt that has an outline of like leaves, and I wanted to show you what you can do to, if you have a certain shirt or clothing that you want to add some texture to. So I wanted to show you how I would like outline it so that it can kind of give it some texture to the shirt. And I'm going to start off by outlining it with the black thread. As you can see, I split it and I knotted it at the end so that it's ready to go. Now you always start at the back. I'm just going to start at the most northern point of the leaf. So I'm actually going to do a stem stitch. So as you remember, you can kind of go a ways. And before closing the loop all together, you're going to come back up and kind of go midway between the first and second stitch points basically, and then you'll close it off. You'll repeat it by going again and create another loop before closing it all the way. I'm going to go midway through and then close it out, so then you have this sort of stem situation. I'm going to do that all the way around and along the lines of the stem. And we'll come back and fill in the spaces where the pink is and actually do pink. So then for the stems on the inside, I'm just going to do every other one because they're too close together. And then what I'm going to do is intermix pink in between it. So the stems inside the lines, I'm just going to do every other line. And I'm just going to do a regular running stitch for this, just one dash from stem end to leaf end basically. Why am I doing this with my right hand? I'm left-handed. So now I'm going to go back, and in between the black, I'm going to intersperse some pink. So of course we start at the back.